reports that Saliba came out with no strapping. He's probably fine. He'll probably play against Crystal Palace. Like, we just have to move on from here and try to win the Premier League. But I've already seen people saying if Arteta doesn't win a trophy, should he get sacked? No, he should not get sacked. Relax. You guys want him to get sacked because you know he's good and you know we're moving in the right direction. So no, he's not going to get sacked. We're fine. Focus on the Premier League. But yeah, they have to figure out why it is that we can't perform in cups. It's not just the Europa League, it's in cups. When we rotate, those players don't step up. And if we have to play our best 11 in every single competition, we're effed.
But you know what I do want to add though? Arteta said this, and he kind of specified it to when he was asked about Emil Smith Rowe. He was like, "If these players want to get back into this 11, they have to show me the fight." Now, what Arteta's always done, he's backed his words. Now, I want to see that in the summer. I want to see those players. I want him to look back in these competitions and look at these fringe players who basically didn't perform and go, "Do you know what? Either sit them down, have a word with them, or you're out the door."
Arteta's got to be careful. And I say that because he's setting a precedent right now that reminds me of POCH, where, these cups don't matter. The FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Europa League, they don't matter. We only want Champions League. We only want Premier League. And Poch took them to those places, but couldn't get them over the line. Now, I'm not saying he will repeat the same thing. I'm not saying he won't win the league and all of that. But if you guys don't win the league, it's kind of like, why did you sacrifice all these things for when you could have had easily this season? You easily could have had an FA Cup.
Do you think that's Arteta, or do you think that's on the players?
No, I'm not saying it's on. I'm not saying it's Arteta's. I'm just saying, like,
you said that Arteta's setting the precedent, right? So clearly you're blaming it on Arteta, right?
No, I'm not blaming the game on Arteta. I'm just saying he's got to be careful to guard it, because your point is we shouldn't have to play the strongest teams every game in the cups to win the cup, but to get over the line to win a cup right now, you have to do that, because now you're complaining about squad depth. So
we're probably not. We're probably not at a point right now. Like, I get what you're saying. We had an opportunity to win Europa League and we have an opportunity to win the Premier League, but we're still ahead of where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I know. In the summer, and what's so important, let me just say this really quick, is Arsenal have got to be in the Champions League. We have to, in order to recruit the type of players that are going to allow us to compete on multiple fronts. So that's the main focus of the season, regardless to if we need to win or not.
My point is, sorry, Nick, before my main point is, we've seen Erik ten Hag be questioned. Why is he playing his strongest 11 in the cups? Why does he keep doing it? Why isn't he rated? And he's won a trophy, and he looks like he could go on to win one or two more. If we do, that's a different question.
Yeah, but KJ, we did, mate. We played 7 of our first team players today.
Yeah, but you didn't play your most important ones.
We're not
playing Casemiro.
So let me answer KJ's thing, because this is what I'm saying is Arsenal have to have Champions League in order to recruit the type of players that we need. We need to get back into the top 4. Manchester United, I think you guys are in a completely different space than we are. Outside of Champions League, you guys were able to get Casemiro, Varane, players like that. We have got to climb back up that hill. So you guys can kind of, get top 4, not have to win the Premier League, go a little bit stronger in the cups, because what you guys needed to do this season was to win trophies. You had to, because you guys had a 6-year trophy drought. So regardless,
doesn't this take you back to KJ's initial point when he mentioned Poch, because that was Tottenham's mantra. Forget everything else.
But but you guys are not letting me finish. It's you guys are trying to pinpoint on just this time. Arsenal have different things that we need to accomplish every single season. So just because this season our main focus is getting into the Champions League doesn't mean next season our main focus is to just get into the Champions League. That's not what it is. We failed at it last season. Now we have to get it this season. We don't quite have all the pieces to make sure that we can get everything else. But once we get into the Champions League, Arsenal are not going to sit there and say, okay, we need to get into Champions League again. We're going to move forward.
All right.
I get that it's like POCH, but it's really not, because it's one season.
But let me ask you this. The teams that he played, I don't remember the team he put out in the Carabao Cup when you went out. but the FA Cup and this match today, could you, considering where you are in the league now, are you saying that if you had played stronger teams in those games and maybe gone 1 or 2 games deeper, that would have hindered your chance and possibilities of getting Champions League football this year? Because as far as I look at the league, top 4 is not even a question for Arsenal. Like, unless you, because a lot of Arsenal fans and some rival fans say that Arsenal are the best team in England this year. And I'm not going to argue with it. The league table doesn't lie. So if Arsenal are genuinely the best team in England this year, surely you don't have to do what Liverpool did a few seasons ago and give up every competition just to achieve your goals, which you're saying is not actually winning the league, but achieve your goals of qualifying for the Champions League. Like, which one is it? Are you the best team in England this year, or are you not? And you actually need to give up.
Okay, so I can answer that as well. So when we went out of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup earlier on in the season, we were not as clear and as far into the season in terms of winning the Premier League back then. It was still kind of like not sure. It was a while back. We've been out of those competitions for a while. So I kind of understand what you're saying. It's like, well, you know, you're the best team in England. So, and you're kind of clear now, clear of Champions League. So why aren't you guys playing stronger teams in the cups? First of all, we didn't really play that not strong of a team. We played a pretty strong team, but now we're trying to get the Premier League and it's a little bit different. So I get what you're trying to say, but like next season, we're not just going to sit there and say, okay, we just need to get Champions League.
And that's why I said he has to be
careful. But now things have changed. If we had played all of our starting 11, first of all, we played so many strong players and we still got injuries, you know, like I don't know. I feel like I know there's going to be a lot of emphasis on this one game, but
for me, it's not just the one game. It's 3 cups that I'm pretty sure at the start of the season, Arsenal fans were saying we have to win one of them. Now all gone. Now I know it's different now because you're in the Premier League race. So cool. Yep. But surely you still want to win more. You still want to win one of the.
KJ, I'm just saying.
Of course we do. Nobody's saying that we don't.
Because
exactly. So that's
why
I'm saying.
After all this hype, if they end this season without a trophy, I don't care how many points you get. I don't care if Man City go on a 12-game winning run and it's a juggernaut of a team. I've heard that before from other rivals that wear red. Juggernaut of a team and we could do nothing about it. If they end this season without a trophy, I will be there.
Can I just say, KJ, can I just say, there's a fine line. I understand what you're saying. There's a fine line because at the beginning of the season, a lot of Arsenal fans would have said, we want top 4 and Europa League. We have to win the Europa League and get top 4. Otherwise, it's not a good enough season. Top 4 was never going to be enough. But now we're in the title race and we haven't won a title for 20 years. And that automatically qualifies us for the Champions League as well. Yeah. Then it becomes more important, I suppose.
With 11 games to go.
Yeah. I think this is the thing with it. I understand Arsenal fans changing their mindset. The 2 bits I don't agree with, one, belittling trophies, like I've seen some gooners do, little FA Cup, little Carabao Cup, little Europa League. We don't care about that. We're looking at bigger things. I don't like that language around it. I don't like trophies being disrespected. Hindsight is what's going to rule here, because if you don't win the league, then sacrificing your best line for these games will then, again, hindsight's lucrative, but then it will be that was a mistake. But if you win the league, you're not going to care. So that's where it becomes...
Do you know what my issue with the point is, though? I hate the word sacrifice. I don't think we did. Because even if you look at the FA Cup, we still played Bukayo Saka. We still played a strong enough team to take it to City. And we got unfortunate. It was a late-ish goal, 1-0.
Even if Arteta didn't sacrifice, but from your analysis earlier, it sounds like you're saying the player sacrificed. So whether Arteta, the players, the club, Arsenal as a
do you know when I blame Arteta?
So what are we supposed to do then? What are we supposed to do?
Arteta, right?
We've already said that we're disappointed by the players.
Get rid of holding, isn't it? That was the answer.
So what are we supposed to do?
We are holding it, but obviously we're trying to have a productive conversation. My point is this, right? The way I see it,
I think they expect us to go to the Emirates and do something to the players.
Listen, it's just
that. But
I brought it up.
But they're still fighting for the Premier League.
What you said, KJ, and what Terrace about sacrifice. The way I look at it, Arteta's still trying to motivate these players. He's still on the touchline screaming at them, getting them up for it and saying to them, what the hell are you guys doing? They're just not performing. So, yes, I understand. Yes, it's a slippery slope and he needs to be careful. Hence why I said he's got two options. He either brings them into the office and speaks to them and go, what the hell were you, man, doing? Or if he doesn't get the response he wants, they're out. Because he said it in his own press conference prior to this game. If you're not going to show me the level of competitiveness I need, the fight to get into this team, then you're not going to get in it.
I get
how I see it.
I want to go to some of these super chats. There's a hell of a lot of them to get through. First one from, Gunner Down Under. Says, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't make sense to me if we're going to have to rely on our best players off the bench to rescue games. That's reactive thinking. We either want to win the games or not. And if we wanted to win, our best 11 should play.
It's much easier to go get the result and then take players off rather than have to bring them on to try and save a game that you've got no guarantee you'll save.
Yeah. I get that completely. I think, listen, one thing that used to bother me under Fergie in the Carabao Cup when I grew up was the weak teams we played in early rounds. And often we went out so regularly. And then every now and then, maybe it's because we weren't the best team in England, he started playing stronger teams on it and we ended up winning it. And I always look back thinking to myself, I swear we could have won that 3, 4, 5 more times in Fergie's time, 100%.